Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
James Dale Atkins, William C. Ahaus, Eric Arnold Anderson, Victor Joe Apodaca, Jr., James Odell Ashton, Stephen Edward Austin, Albert Carl Bachman, Jr., Jeffrey Lawrence Barker, Gail Lynn Barnes, Don Laverne Bartley, David Lynn Bell, Renato Martin Bevilacqua, Bruce William Blakely, Steve Blaskovich, Jr., Paul Madison Bolin, David Allen Brown, Maurice Herbert Bryant, John Thomas Bush, Anthony Cara, Leonard James Carter, Wendell Oliver Chatfield, Edward Eugene Christie, Timothy Richard Clark, Reuben L. Clark, Jr., Philip George Colonna, Roger Leroy Connor, Donald Estelle Cook, Scott Dennis Corello, James Ira Courtney, Robert Lee Cousin, Jimmy O'Neill Croft, Francis Edwin Daly, Jerry Lorenzo Daw, Howard Arthur Donald, Arthur W. Drynan, Carl Ely, Thomas Allen Edmond, Jack Ellenbos, Kenneth Earl Enfinger, Jerry Lynn Irvin, Thomas Hoyt Farmer, Dewey Lyndon Ferguson, John Edward Ferguson, Jorge L. Fernandez, Richard Bernard Fitzgibbon, Jr., Glenn Ray Flightman, Ronald Edmund Forget, Gerald James Frost, James Giles, Rockford Wayne Goddard, William Herschel Green, Michael Wade Hagee, Kirby Lynn Hamby, Thomas Edward Healy, David Franklin Helm, William Glade Henderson, Clarence Henricks III, Michael Joe Higginbotham, Robert Allen Hill, Thomas Leo Honegies, Philip Heath Holmes, Jr., Carl William Hudgens, Jr., David Michael Johnson, Dale Lloyd Johnson,
Charles Jones, Jr., J. Allen Kaufman, Carl John Keehee III, Malin Lewis Kelly, Keo Joe Keschner, David Butler Kaiser, David Knox, John Thomas Krebs, Jr., Marvin Douglas Lambden, George Francis Landy, Sharon Ann Lane, Hans Dietrich Lang, Robert Nathaniel Latimer, Malcolm Francis Ledger, Efren Leon de Jesus, John Edward Lawrence, Melville Albert Lurth, Jr., Kenneth Neal Macbeth, Lester Earl MacDonald, Douglas McCarthy Mallet, Eladio R. Mariquin, Jr., Joseph Lewis Marshall, George Francis Martinez, David Leroy McKee, Ronald Walsh McLean, John Thomas McMahon, Gary Lynn Mercer, Delaney Ernest Miller, Jr., Jose Clemente Montano, Willie James Moore, Herman Ray Morris, Ansel Wendell Morse, Donald Andrew Moritzen, Anton Leonard Mumm, David Gephardt Myers, Robert Melvin Nail, Daniel Martin O'Donnell, Michael Eugene O'Gwen, John Russell Oakey, David Michael Oland, Donald Warren Olila, Albert Danny Owens, George R. Pendergraft, James Alfred Person, Terrell Jean Peterson, Thomas Prutter, William Val Reed, Howard Jacob Rice, Johnny Bill Robertson, Jr., John Robinson, Arturo Serna Rodriguez, Clark Franklin Rogers, Francis Clare Rummel, Michael Anthony Sharp, Robert Roy Sheridan, Creighton Wayne Sistrunk, Winfred Lee Smith, Philip Robert Smith, Avery Jean Smith, Dean Franklin Smith, Jr., Albert Alfred St. Lawrence, Willie Lee Steele, Harold Kenneth Stevens, Jr., Daniel Leo Stalker,
Thomas William Strothman, Robert Guy Strickland, John Thomas Thornton, Terry Edward Toole, Joseph Torzak, George Leslie Tucker, Jr., Arthur Travis Turner, John Harold Ulbrich, Dennis Wayne Velusik, Ignacio L. Villalobos, Chris C. Verlumis, Walter Adolph Wagner, Roy Lacey Walker, Glenn Allen Watkins, Howard Lee Webb, Hiawatha Henry Williams, William Ralph Wilson, Robert Arnold Wimmer, Thomas Leonis Yone, Roger Lee Young.